Yeah, really excited to be 4-0. Coming off the bye week there, and just looking back on everything we've been through in the last few months, to be 4-0, be first place in the Big Ten East, big deal. Couldn't be prouder of this team. I think when you get into a game like this, either the emotions run high, but most people don't know what these guys have been through. They don't understand the sacrifices that have been made. They haven't seen their families in months. When they leave the facility, they're isolated in their room, not allowed to go anywhere because of this virus. And this family is stuck together. Man, we said going into the game, we just have to figure out a way to win this game. That's all that matters, is that you win. And, that's just the way that we were all brought up in playing sports. You win the game. That's it. Now, there's a lot of things in this game that were unbelievable. I thought the start in the game was just ridiculous. The energy that we came out with was as good as I've seen. We played really well in the first half. Came out, scored in the second half. We can talk about a lot of different things that went on really in that first half, but in my opinion, it was really dominated. And then we let up some big plays and let them back into the game. And we got to figure out a way to close out games. This is kind of the second week now where we let a team hang around a little bit, and we got to get that fixed. But so many great things in this game. Indiana is a good team. They're a top 10 team. So this was not easy, and I'm really proud of this team. We had an opportunity this week and tomorrow to go back and watch the film and learn from it. But to be 4-0 right now, after we weren't even playing football a few months ago. Now we're back in this thing and we're rolling. And again, really proud of this team and the coaches.
All righty, we'll start the questioning with Jared Smalley, WCMH. Jared?
Hey, Ryan, obviously you want to coach aggressive. Can you walk us through the sequence there, 4th down and a yard around the 7-yard line? You decide you've got a young kicker. You decide not to kick it. You decide to go for it on 4th. You don't get it. Can you walk us through what you're thinking about in that moment and what ultimately happened there?
Yeah. Always want to be aggressive. 4th and 1. We've gone for it before in those situations. We'll continue to do that. Always want to be aggressive. I felt like at that point, they were moving the ball pretty good, and I was worried that a field goal may not do it, and wanted to be aggressive. Wanted to go up two touchdowns, and actually, like the call, we got to execute it better. But either way, that we know we're going to be aggressive in those situations. Looking back, when you don't get it, sure, you go kick the field goal. But there's been times we've gone for it in those situations and got it, and then pulled away from teams. So always going to be aggressive, and then not second guess ourselves when it doesn't work.
All right, we'll go next to Austin Ward, Letterman Row. Austin?
Ryan, I think most programs in the country would gladly trade positions with you to look at that stretch that you put together when it was 35-7. That's about as dominant as you could play. So is it a concern for you that you still are looking for this full 60 minutes, or are you pleased with what you can do when you're at your top gear there?
Yeah, no, definitely not pleased. Well, a long way from pleased. I mean, we got ways to go, but we played 4 games. It's almost Thanksgiving, and so it's just very, very bizarre. And there's just so much that has gone into the season these kids have been through that, to the average person, they don't quite get that part of it. They wouldn't understand. But when you're in an environment like this, when there's no fans and you have to bring your own energy, it's just a different dynamic. And I think that's why you're seeing so much strange things that have gone on this year. Not making excuses. I'm just calling it for what it is. And we have to keep growing and get better and learn to adapt in this environment. And it seems to me like whatever the reason is, we're just the last 2 weeks, we haven't been able to finish that. We came out and scored right out of the gate in the second half. So I was jacked up. I thought we were going to run away with it. We didn't. So we got to coach better, and we got to execute better.
All right, we'll go next to Bill Landis from The Athletic. Bill?
Ryan, how would you assess the play on the back end of your defense, and also just how that's being coached at the moment?
Yeah, I think a little inconsistent. There was some big plays there. That Shaun Wade's pick 6 was huge, in the game. That was a big play. Anytime you get a defensive score like that, that was big. I thought when our defense got those stops after the interceptions and sudden change, that was really big. And I also thought that, I think it was Marcus Hooker who it was a big play. We got him down. We created the fumble at the end of the half, go in a 2-minute drill and score right there. That was huge as well. But there was big plays. There was plays that, really, if we don't give up those big plays, you probably run away with this game. But we did. I think it's 491 yards passing. I mean, that's way too much. Good news is, we obviously stopped the run. I mean, there was no run game at all. It was all passing. So yeah, going to go back, watch the film, and kind of figure out, where these issues are that are creating these big plays. Because when you stop with the big plays, then you'll be in pretty good shape. But that's a part of playing great defense, and we got to get that changed.
All right, next up, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors. Dan?
Yeah, Ryan, just following up on that in terms of, getting those 491 passing yards, do you think there's a consistent thing that your pass defense is struggling with, or is it just kind of different things that teams are hitting you with each week?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think there are some probably things that we can look at that have been repeating. But I think there's also things that come, show up, teams attack you differently. And so we got to get that, like I said, we got to get it fixed. We got to really identify exactly that question. And anytime you have a problem like that, it's one of three things. You say to yourself, you have the right personnel there. So you look at who's doing it. And the second thing is, what is the scheme? Does the scheme give our guys the best opportunity to be successful? And then if both of those boxes get checked, then it goes coaching. Are we coaching it correctly? And so I think that's when you're trying to fix something, you have to identify one of those three things. It needs to get addressed, or maybe a little bit of each. And so that's what Sundays are for. And again, if you look at the first half, it's not like we're not capable of doing it, because we did it. There was some really good football being played there for a good chunk of this game. So where are those gaps that we need to fill in?
We got time for two more. We'll go first to Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Yes, Ryan. Justin has obviously been very careful with the ball in his career here. Today, 3 picks. Could you kind of assess his performance and the issues you saw in those interceptions in particular?
Yeah, really gutsy, really tough. I mean, he got hit today. We knew going in that it was going to be a high-risk, high-reward game. That's the way that they are, and that you have to continually be aggressive. The first interception really wasn't a great read by him. He had Chris on the in cut. He thought he saw it too high and went to a 1 high. So I know he wants to have that one back. A few other ones, I think he tried to force it a little bit too much. But overall, I thought he played really gutsy. He made some big-time throws, and they were blitzing. We knew they're blitzing every snap. I mean, literally every snap. So there was going to be negative plays. There was going to be some big plays, and that's kind of how it played out. And we did have 607 yards of total offense, so 300 yards rushing. Justin, he went for 300 yards passing and 78 yards rushing. Just amazing. But certainly want to have those plays back and those interceptions back. But at the same time, you have to be aggressive, and you have to go at them. You can't be on your heels when you play against a defense like this. And so a lot to learn from. But overall, the production was really good. But we got to clean up those turnovers.
And we'll wrap up Coach Day with Doug Lamarice, Cleveland.com. Doug.
Ryan, you referenced when you have an issue, you have to figure out whether it might be personnel, scheme, or coaching. I know this might be a tough question post-game. If you ever do come to decisions that it is personnel, how do you decide? What are those decisions like when you think, hey, maybe in the middle of a season we have to put some different guys on the field? Are those difficult decisions to make, or is that just part of it?
No. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions. That's part of coaching. And again, usually when you assess something like that, it's not like, okay, it's only this. It's usually a little bit of this, a lot of this, maybe a little bit here and there. And if you tighten up all three of those areas, usually you see improvement. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have to put the best players on the field to make play. We believe in our guys. We have confidence in our guys. So I'll be very surprised if we have to make any changes, but maybe we will. I know we have to watch the film and see, because almost 500 yards offense in terms of passing is too much, and that's not acceptable. So we got to get that fixed.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep. Coach Day, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to click on that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And come visit us over at BuckeyeGrove.com for all the best Ohio State information on the web.